Hello, everybody. It is Monday, October 31st. Happy Halloween. And we are here to talk all about the Healy microcurrent frequency device that you see right here on my shirt. I'm joined by Ray Jatan and Lori Falk. They are both Healy
Hey,
board
everybody.
members. Yeah, hello. We're all Healy board members, which means that we've been selected to be an advisory council towards Healy Corporate here in the United States. Mainly means that we've been doing this a while and we've had some success in sharing Healy and training people and teaching all about how awesome our little device is. So I'm going to start off and share just a little bit about what this is all about, what frequencies are, and then Ray and Lori are going to share some stuff. And then after that, I'll do an actual demonstration so you can see the Healy in action so it makes sense to you. So I hope you'll stick around till the end. If you have any questions, please just type them into the chat, and the two of us that aren't speaking at the time will be able to answer questions, but we'll probably answer most of your questions just through this webinar. So the first thing I want to explain is what are frequencies, because when I was first called about this frequency device by a doctor friend of mine that's a holistic doctor, I didn't really understand frequencies. I had heard of a Rife machine, which was way back in the 1930s. A doctor was making a machine where you'd hold onto these copper or brass bars of some kind. It would put a mild electrical current through the water and the cells in your body. And he found that specific frequencies had different effects on the body. And since then, they have learned that frequencies do cause things to happen in the cell that is positive, like ATP production is increased, which is the power of the cell or the energy, and protein synthesis is increased, amino acid transport is increased. So there are physical things that happen. But really, what does this mean? What are frequencies and why would that help? Well, the idea is that every cell in the body has an electrical current to it, or it's a little electrical power plant. The cellular membrane has a voltage to it, and every cell vibrates or has a frequency of a different amount. So a liver cell is different from a heart cell and from a skin cell and a hair cell and so on. But then also emotions and brain waves, they all have frequency. And we have found, and doctors are now finding, and scientists, and especially quantum physicists, are finding that if you add energy at specific frequencies, they can have an impact on your health, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all sorts of types of health. Really important to understand that this has been around a long time, this concept. In fact, two people you've heard of from 100 years ago have some pretty amazing quotes. So Nikola Tesla, the famous quantum physicist, said, "If you want to understand the secrets to the universe, think in terms of frequency, energy, and vibration." Got those out of order a little bit, but that's the idea of the quote. And Albert Einstein, we've all heard of Albert Einstein. He said the future of medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. So they've understood this concept of frequency and being able to impact health. And it's kind of like Star Trek: The Next Generation. They have a little tricorder and they can read your bioenergetic field and see what's wrong in the body and then provide what needs to happen. Well, that's kind of what we're doing here. And it's really, really pretty cool, and kind of the next frontier of health. And we get to be part of that, which is exciting. So I'm going to just go ahead and turn this. Well, no, let me just tell quickly my story. So when Dr. Allen, a friend of mine, called me and told me about the Healy, I didn't understand a lot about frequencies, but she explained kind of what I just shared with you. And we really trust Dr. Allen. We've always called her when we have questions on our health. And my wife and I have always done our health more holistically, meaning we tended to not go to traditional doctors and try to do things that are more preventative and holistic for our health, just our whole married life of over 30 years now. And when she told us about the Healy, like, okay, sounds cool. We'll buy one because we just love and trust her so much. But it has been really, really cool. I'll share a little bit of the actual physical type health things that has helped me with when I'm demonstrating the Healy. But it's just been a great ride now for about 2.5 years that I've owned a Healy, or now multiple Healys. Just not only for my own health, but just sharing it with so many people and just seeing all the testimonials and experiences people have had has been awesome. So Ray has become a very, very good friend of mine now. And Ray, if you could tell your story, and I love it how you share a little bit about the history of Healy and its parent company, which is Time Waver. Go ahead, Ray.
Sure. I love talking about this company. This product has made a huge difference in our lives. In fact, I'm sitting right now in my vehicle at a soccer game, district soccer game for my son, and we found out about this product because of him. So it was because of the growth spurt that he was having and trying to play soccer at the same time for high school, that the poor kid could hardly walk. He grew like 6 inches in 8 months. It was crazy. He's even got stretch marks on his back. So between that growth spurt and the coach working him really hard, to watch him walk looked like he was watching or walking on Legos. And that's the way he described the pain that he was experiencing from this growth spurt. So we were headed out for vacation. We'd actually taken him to the doctor, to the chiropractor, massage therapist, tried pills and everything else, and nothing was working. And I was really concerned that since we're on our way out to vacation pretty shortly after that, if he would even be able to hike with us in the mountains. And we stopped to pick up my best friends, and they had just purchased their Healy device. They'd only had it for about a week, and it had only been in the US market for about 3 months. And they barely knew how to use it, but they said, hey, this device is out of Germany. It's cleared here in the US by the FDA for chronic and acute pain, arthritis, and muscle soreness. They also said that in the other countries, it was cleared for fibromyalgia, depression, and anxiety. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. They said, let's hook him up and see what it can do. And they hooked up my son for 20 minutes, just did a resonance vibration after they scanned him for the pain category. They vibrated him for about 20 minutes. And 2 hours later, he's walking normal. And my wife says, oh my gosh, I got to have one of those. So we had one ordered before we ever got back to Missouri. And, I'm pretty much a mess myself because I've had diabetes since I was 16 years old. So for 37, almost 38 years now, I've dealt with this awful disease and tried a lot of things over the years, nutrition, and had a few little results here and there. But this right here, this Healy, is the single biggest impact on the amount of insulin that I take nowadays compared to what I used to take. I'm down almost 40% because of putting good frequencies in my body. So this is life changing for me. We've seen it do some really neat things for hormones with both of my daughters and my wife, and you name it. There's there's things in this that just address a lot of issues: sleeping, digestion, stress. Oh man, I could just keep going on and on. But as I researched this company, I was more and more intrigued all the time because the company's actually parent company that makes the Healy is called Time Waver. And interestingly enough, they make larger devices that they're so big and they sit on the doctor's desk or the practitioner's desk and they plug into a computer, and then you hold on to these brass rods in your hand, seems like for hours, while they send frequencies into you to look for these different areas of need in your body, and then they're able to send those frequencies back into you to address those issues that they're finding. Well, it takes somebody pretty knowledgeable on how to use those practitioner devices from Time Waver. Lots of extra training and money, and that device from Time Waver can be anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000, depending on what kind of modules they have purchased for that. Um, but being a businessman, I think about employees and everything else. So when you've got a $40,000 device, number one, quite a large investment, and then you had to have somebody specially trained to operate this thing. And so that meant either the owner of the company or the practitioner, or they spend a lot of money to send somebody over to Germany to get specially trained for that device. Well, that wasn't practical for all of those practitioners. So the couple of practitioners went to the owner of the company, Marcus Schmika, and said, "We really need something that we can use as an extension to our care that we can send home with our clients so that they can continue their therapy without having to be in the office all the time." So that's where the Healy came in. They spent a lot of money, close to $100 million, to develop this technology and launch it to the practitioners. And they did that back in 2017. So this didn't start off as a social selling company or a network marketing company. It started off in the practitioner's office. So it was actually programmed by the time waiver device. So we have all the frequencies. There's over 19 million frequencies that this little device can produce, and it's pre-programmed by the time waiver device and practitioners. So by 2019, they realized that the practitioners weren't really great at selling. They were great at treating and working with clients. So after all that investment, they decided, let's change markets a bit and see what we can do with the social selling arena. So they launched the Healy in 2019 to the world markets other than the US. And they did $7 million that first year. Not too bad. But they came into the US market in the middle of our pandemic in 2020, in May of 2020. So not even a full year here in the US. Halfway through the year, they came in. And by the end of that year, by the end of 2020, they still did over $100 million. So that said something. They sold out of these in the first day. And then obviously there was a manufacturing distribution issue. So there were a lot of people that didn't get their Healys for the first 5 to 12 weeks. So on top of that, they had some customer service issues because customer service was all the way over in Germany. So right away, because my daughter Riley and I and David, we're pretty tech savvy as far as how to make things work with our phones, we became the customer service department for this company as we grew for our distributors. Now, though, they have all of that taken care of. There are no shortages of product. We have a customer service and home office in Orlando. And we have 2 distribution centers throughout the US market where they ship product from so that we get it in a timely manner. So they have really come a long ways in the last couple of years. And we're just excited to move forward with this. We weren't necessarily looking for this to be an opportunity for us, but it turned into an opportunity that allowed me to retire from the heating and air conditioning industry that I've been in for 38 years. That's a blessing for me. And all we've done really is just shared Healy with other people, and we help them make a difference in their lives. It's worth getting out of bed every day to help people. And we're just in love with this whole thing. So um I appreciate the opportunity to be able to work with David and Lori and be on these calls every Monday night. And we've been blessed to be a part of the field advisory board. And this thing is moving forward fast. So grab your Healy and jump on a launch call and get some training, and let's go to work.
Awesome, Ray. Hey, I want to point out too, Ray was talking about what we've got going on here in the United States, but we are also newly in Canada, and they have their own distribution and an office in Canada as well. But we're also in something like 55 other countries as well. So if people are hearing this call and you're in another country, check to see if we offer the Healy in your country legally. And but yeah, there's 55 chances that that's true. So look at that. True. So I know, Ray, you're going to jump out and go watch your son play some district soccer. Thank you so much for joining us here. And we're going to have Lori jump on. Lori is a great. She's a wellness coach, and she has a lot of experience understanding this concept of frequency and energy and how it can impact us. So Lori, I'd love to hear you share your story. And I love the background of how you learned about frequencies first. So yeah, share all of that with us. It'd be great.
Thank you, David. I'd be happy to. And hello, everyone. I will tell you from my heart that biofeedback saved my life 25 years ago. And Healy gave me my life back. So let me explain to you what I mean by all of that, because that was kind of a big statement, right? Well, I was dealing with major depressive disorder, chronic fatigue, and extreme anxiety disorder. And this was 25 years ago. And I spent a year on the couch because of all the pharmaceuticals that were being thrown at me. So needless to say, it wasn't doing a very good job. So I had the good fortune of meeting a naturopath. I didn't even know what holistic health was back then, but she took me under her wing and taught me so much. And she had a device similar to our time waver device. It was called the QXCI. It was one of those other very high-end biofeedback devices. And she did a scan on me. And she asked me if I had ever been in an accident, which I thought was an unusual question. I was going to her for a mental health issue, and she'd asked if I'd been in an accident. And I said, well, as a matter of fact, I was. I was in New York City when I was in my late 20s, and I was hailing a cab, and I got hit right in the neck. This cab, it wasn't a cab, it was a truck. It was a garment district truck. And the back end of it hit me right in the neck, knocked me out cold. I woke up, and the wheels of the truck were that close to running over me. So needless to say, I just jumped up, got out from under that truck, and was grateful to be alive. I didn't go get x-rays or do any of the things that a logical person might have thought I should do. I just was so happy to be alive that I walked a mile to my friend's showroom and said, call my husband and tell him what just happened. So anyway, long story short, here we are. And she's just done the scan on me, and the scan could show her that my C1 through C3 vertebrae were totally compressed. And what had happened was, over the years, the muscles in my neck from that trauma, that injury, got tighter and tighter and tighter, compressing those vertebrae to the point that all those yummy neurotransmitters that get made in your gut weren't getting up my spinal column into my brain. Wow. I don't think there's a traditional doctor out there anywhere that would have figured that out. And they would have just thrown more meds at me. So here I was, and she said, well, here's the good news. Not only do we know now that we have the root cause of this, but we can send frequencies to your neck to help relax it and balance this out and open up those vertebrae again. And I was like, I could hardly believe my words, but I sat there for an hour and let her run these frequencies on me. And then I went home and I felt better. And I felt better for, probably a week or so, maybe 10 days. And then I needed to go back. Well, what's the problem with this repetitive cycle here? It was back then, 25 years ago, $100 a pop every time I wanted to go see her. So today, those sessions are anywhere from $200 to $300 if you go to see a biofeedback specialist. That's out of most people's budget. So flash forward to April 28th of 2020, when I first got a call and one of my colleagues was describing to me the Healy. I said, oh my God, that sounds just like the QXCI. Are you telling me that I can get one of these devices and use it on myself every day? And not have to go to a biofeedback specialist to get these treatments? And she said, yes. Well, honestly, not kidding, I signed up in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I was out walking my dog and I said, yes, absolutely, sign me up, because that meant that I could actually help myself to rebalance and loosen up my neck muscles every day. So when I say biofeedback saved my life and Healy gave me my life back, what I mean is that in my ability to run those programs every single day, I stopped having depressive episodes, because back during that 25-year window, I was up and down, up and down, up and down. When I would get a treatment, I'd be good, and then I'd go down. And sometimes I'd be down for 3-4 months at a time. So I can tell you that about 6 months into having my Healy, I felt one of those depressive episodes coming on. I grabbed my Healy. I immediately ran the mental balance programs. I ran 2 of them back to back while I went out for a walk in the middle of January, moved the energy, got my body going, helping my body to absorb these frequencies. And David's going to show you later what it looks like when you put the bracelets on. And I was running the frequencies, the microcurrent frequencies, directly into my body. And I stopped that depressive episode in an hour and a half. And I can honestly tell you that I have not had a major depressive episode in 2.5 years. And that means I've had such quality of life. I can't remember the last time that I had this kind of quality of life. Now I'm talking about my experience, and of course, just one area that it's helped me with. It's helped me in many, many other areas as well. Not the least of which is I have this adorable, you probably see her over my shoulder over here, little cockapoo, who is a rescue. And she spent 2.5 years in an Amish breeding mill in a chicken coop. When she first came to live with me, she was so withdrawn and so scared. She was frightened of every single thing. And I started running frequencies on her as well, because you can run frequencies on yourself, your clients, your family members, your pets, your home, buildings. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what these teeny little devices are capable of doing through their little quantum sensor, which David will share more with you what that's all about. But I'm running these flower essences on her, Bach flowers and bush flowers and Alaskan gem elixirs and all these homeopathic, well, they would be remedies in the real world, frequencies in our world. And it started to help release her emotional trauma. So what I like to tell people is this is an epigenetic emotional healing tool, because it heals on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual levels simultaneously. And by enabling Gabby to heal her emotional trauma, her whole little personality started to bubble up. And she really started to enjoy life more. She started to be more interactive with people. And my neighbors were coming to me and saying, "What have you done to that dog?" And I said, "Oh my goodness, what do you mean?" And they said, "Well, she's so much more friendly and outgoing." And so it wasn't just that I noticed, strangers were noticing. Well, that was just like incredible to me. And then I started thinking about it as a coach who specializes, I'm a health and wellness coach who specializes in the area of epigenetics, meaning that there's an emotional root cause behind everything. Every disease, there's an emotional root cause. And I thought, Gabby just taught me that I can get to emotional root cause. That means I can help people to actually have healthier lives by not setting off and triggering the physical DNA, clearing up their subconscious programs. I thought it was wonderful that I could do that just with those particular areas, program categories that I just described. And then guess what? A year ago, they added a coaching module. Oh my God. David and Ray could both tell you, I am so stoked and so excited about how accurate this coaching module is I can have a client write an intention of something they want to manifest and create in their life. And I can find in 6 minutes what it used to take me 6 months working with someone one-on-one to find. There isn't a coach out there that wouldn't benefit by having one of these and utilizing it in their practice. I feel so strongly about this that I will no longer coach people unless they have a Healy, because I want them to be able to run those balancing frequencies on their subconscious beliefs and old thinking patterns every day, so that they can actually fast forward their personal growth and development in a much more efficient way and a much easier way. You don't feel as much of the trauma. It's absolutely amazing. And Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is the grandfather of epigenetics, has been quoted as saying that frequency medicine is 100 times more effective than chemicals. Well, perhaps that's because it isn't going through your digestive tract. And with the Healy, perhaps it's because it's going to emotional root cause and clearing all of that up and clearing up all of that inherited, what I call epigenetic emotional DNA that got passed on to you from your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors, just like your physical DNA. So this is helping you in so many ways. It's profound. It's just absolutely profound. And I highly encourage you to get to the person who sent you to this lovely event that we're having this evening on Halloween and ask them if they can't do a scan on you and show you how some of these things work. So David, how would you like to show everyone how we put all this together?
Yeah, well, I think you guys have a concept of what the idea of frequencies are and that the Healy can influence that. And as Lori said, it's biofeedback. You can actually do scans and see what you need. So, but remember, it is a consumer device, so you're not going to see names in there like disease names and such as far as programs. What the Healy is doing is it tells you which programs you need to run, which will support your body with frequencies, so your body can do the healing, because our bodies are designed to heal themselves. We just need to put the right stuff in there. We're finding that frequencies are very effective because that's at the subatomic level. It's before all the nutrition and other things that you can do. And if you can get the right frequencies in there and the right energy in your body and balance things out correctly, you have these amazing effects. So let's just share with you how it all works. So this is the device. It's only about 2 inches by 2 inches square, very small. And we typically will have that like clipped onto our shirt or in our pocket or something, so that it's up in the bioenergetic field, because we have a field which sometimes is called the information field by quantum physicists. It's like an EMF field, electromagnetic field around our bodies that we're generating, but it's full of information, it's full of frequencies, and now we can read that. So there's a quantum sensor in here that'll read that. So I'm going to show you basically how we would run different types of programs. There's 3 different ways we can provide frequencies, and one is by plugging in these wires. The other end goes to either electrodes on your wrists, like I have on right here, or you can use these adhesive style electrodes. If, for instance, if you have knee pain, you'd put one on either side of your knee, and you can run a frequency program just for pain, and it's very effective. Pain, in fact, this is what it's FDA cleared for. The FDA recognizes that we can do pain with frequencies. It doesn't recognize all the rest of what we can do, but honestly, I don't care because it works. So here's the Healy. Another way we can do frequencies besides going through the body. So this is going to put a mild electrical current through the cells and the water in our body by going between the 2 wrists. And I'll show you that in a second. But we can also unplug these wires, and we have something called the coil. You can see the coil of wire in there. It's actually a Tesla coil, if you're familiar with Nikola Tesla and his work in energy and such. There's 2 Tesla coils in here. One on the back you can't really see, but it creates a parallel field of Tesla coils. And you plug that in right here. It plugs right in where the wires would plug in. And now you have a wireless Healy, and it is sending something called scalar waves into your field. So it's different than doing it with the electrodes. It's doing it just more into your field. This is at the biological level through the cells. This is balancing energy in your electromagnetic field. And it does penetrate into the body somewhat with those scalar waves as well from where you have it placed. So what's the difference? Why would you want both? Well, it's different applications. This Healy would say you should really only do 3 or 4 times a day, and you should put a few hours of rest in between each application. And normally a program is 40 to 60 minutes, but there's some as short as 20, and I've seen some as long as like 90 minutes about. So, but 40 to 60 minutes, then you rest a few hours, do another one of these, and so on. When we first started with Healy, that's the only version we had. We didn't have the coil. The coil came along, and now this is a more subtle application where, okay, get it off, there we go, where we can run these back to back to back all day long if we want. So in between the times I'm doing with the microcurrent, I can run with the coil several programs if I want in between. And so you can literally be doing frequency work all day long with these 2 types of frequencies. There is a third type I'll show you in a minute, but let's first play a little bit with what I just showed you. I'm going to plug these wires back in, and then I'm going to share my phone screen because we control the Healy with your smartphone or a tablet. If you are sensitive to things like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, we do still need to use those technologies, but you do not even have to have Wi-Fi on to run the Healy. And once you set the program up and start it, you can even turn off the Bluetooth chip in the Healy. You can turn your phone off. Everything will run, so you don't have to be exposed to that. So let me show you how we do that. I'm going to share my screen right here. Share. All right. Connect your iPad. There it is. Okay, so now you're seeing my phone screen, and there's some different apps here. I'm going to use this app that says Healy app. It's a newer version of our original Healy app that will control the Healys. I'm going to use this one today. As we're being encouraged to start using this. It was kind of in beta testing mode, but now it's very, very solid. And whoops, it's connected. It just connected automatically to my Mag Healy. I want to undo that. And let's see, I guess probably have to go to settings and connect to another device. Yes, disconnect the Mag Healy. What I got to do is turn on my Healy. There's my problem. It wasn't on, so it wasn't finding it. So now I've turned on the Healy, so it's blinking. And it should find it in just a second here. There we go. So now I want to hook to this Healy. That's the correct serial number for me. Hit connect. Mag Healy, by the way, is a newer device that Healy has developed that deals in a magnetic field. We might share a little bit more of that later, but typically this is kind of our flagship. This is how you would get started. And if you want to supplement that with some other technologies, we have some cool things happening in the magnetic field as well. So I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to cancel that program, go back to the beginning here, and you'll see there's all these different program groups from gold cycle, pain, learning, fitness, job and sleep, mental balance, beauty, skin, bioenergetic harmony 1 and 2, meridians 1 and 2, chakras, bioenergetic defense, bioenergetic support, bioenergetic vitalization. These are cool. These are keeping us young. It has a program called epigenetic harmonization in there to deal with frequencies from stem cells and human growth hormone. Deep Cycle H is a really deep detoxing program. Digital nutrition mixtures. Let me click into there. You can see you got programs for the brain and the hair and the skin and the heart and the head. And it's like having a supplement for each of those things and having all the frequency information from the vitamins and minerals and nutrients and amino acids and proteins and such that are a part of that supplement. And we can send that frequency information into our field or into our cells with the electrodes through microcurrent. So it's really, really cool. So let's look back here. I want to go back to bioenergetic harmony 1 and 2. You'll see there's 12 programs in each, things like immune system. Chilling is about actually the mucous membranes, like if you're getting a cold, hypersensitivity, eyes, hormones, intestines, and so on. Nerves program, I'm going to show you in a minute how we can do scans, and the Healy will tell you which programs are most needed by you now based on the information in your bioenergetic field. And we have learned to kind of trust the Healy in that way, because you might think your issue is something with digestion, but really maybe the root cause is emotional, or it's something with circulation, or it's just something else affecting it that needs to be worked on first. So we just trust the Healy. So when I first got my Healy, I was having a couple problems. One was some numbness in this right pointer finger. And as a pianist, my degree's in piano performance, I did not like that feeling there where I just didn't have really any feeling, just kind of a numbness on the tip, especially. Um, and then I was also having some sciatic pain on my left side. And the programs that came up the most for me at that time when I first got my Healy was this nerves program, which I would run whenever it said to. And now that feeling is back in my finger. Don't have those issues, whether it was a neuropathy thing or what, but it's not there. And over here, we have a program called Sciatica Local. I was having flare-ups once or twice a week and having to do these weird stretches to try to relieve that pain, especially if I was walking long distances and such. Now in over 2.5 years, I've only had a couple flare-ups, and it's usually when I'm doing something pretty strenuous, like moving out of our house and lifting a lot of furniture and stuff, and then I'll just flare up for a day or so, and I'll run that program and be gone. But it's just been amazing how the quality of life by not having that sciatica pain all the time is just amazing. So, and my wife, and we've had emotional things and that just even in our marriage that have improved. It's just pretty cool how all the things that Healy could address. Let me just give you an example. If I were to run, let's say this nerves program right here, it shows to put the electrodes on the wrist. They show it with kind of little sticky things that you can do that, or these bracelets, which are a lot more convenient. It'd be about a 45-minute program. You could also use the coil for this one if you wanted, but I'm going to show it with the wires. We hit start, and it transmits or sends all the frequencies from the app on your phone over to the Healy. So this program of nerves that have been identified by these time waiver therapists, there may be dozens, or in this case, I think hundreds of frequencies that all could help with your nerves. Because that could be, energy being able to transport through the whole nervous system. And it could just be a lot of different things that might impact how your nerves work. So you can see it's still sending. We're about a little more than halfway of the information being sent, of the basically just a list of frequencies over to the device. Once the program starts, the Healy is going to be scanning my field and choosing from that set of frequencies the ones that I need the most, the ones that are most out of balance or most lacking in energy. And it's going to put that frequency and that energy into my body. So we'll see that starting here right now as it finishes. Okay, so it shows 304 hertz for me right now. And after 10 seconds, you're going to see that number change. It's going to go, let's see, it's going to do next. 934 hertz. So every 10 seconds it'll change. You notice it said current inefficient for a second ago. Now it shows a small wavy line. I have enough current there. Really what I need to do is increase this intensity to make sure that that current is good. When I get up to about 40-45%, I start to feel a little sense of energy in my hands. I can really feel that it's doing something, and now I'm going to have plenty of this current flowing well. But look what happens if I unplug one of these. This will go, it goes dead, okay? I have interrupted that circuit because the frequencies are flowing between the two wires. It's creating a loop, right? A circuit. And if I interrupt that, it's going to go dead, okay? So that's proving right there that the frequencies are going through my body and through the cells and the water in our body, because we conduct electricity. We're electrical beings. And all that water in our bodies, well, what are we, 60, 70, 80% water, depending on what part of the body you're talking about? We're a lot of water, and that's going to really work well. So key to keeping this working well and having good flow is the intensity, but also being well hydrated. It's really important that you're drinking a lot of good quality water to help frequencies work well in the body. Okay, so this is really how we'd run it. Again, I could also take the wires out, run this with the coil. I might do it once with the wires and then once with the coil. Then I'll run some other things with the coil. And then I'll do something else with the wires later in the day. So you just have fun playing with it. And then of course you and your whole family can do this. You put the programs or the apps on multiple phones for your kids and your spouse, and you can all run the Healy. Of course, you're going to be sharing that Healy unless you get more than one. Okay, so let's leave this program. And I want to show you a couple other ways. Well, how do you decide what program you want to run? One way is this Heal Advisor app, which is really cool. Remember, Ray was talking about having diabetes. So if let's say you have diabetes and you just want to focus on that issue, you can click right here on this Heal Advisor search app, and your Healy edition. Oh, you know what? I logged out and logged back in trying to help someone today. So I'm going to quickly put in all the ones that my Healy has. Because I have a Healy Professional. It's going to have these. And you set this up once typically. HRV programs have to do with a separate device we have called a Healy watch. But I have all of these other ones, and I actually happen to have the natural cycle as well. Okay, and I save those settings. So now I can click here and type in diabetes, for instance. You can put anything you want in here. There we go, got diabetes, gestational diabetes, blood glucose lowering, whatever that is, increased thirst, low blood sugar. So it's gonna bring up similar things as well. But let's say I click on diabetes and it'll show which frequency programs would be best to focus on if that was your issue. So it looks like there's about 10 or 12 of them here, maybe even 15. You could write those down. You can even create a little schedule if you want. This IMF means individualized microcurrent frequency schedule. So that's really cool that you can do that. The other way, if you're not wanting to focus on one single thing like that, we go into the really cool Field Advisor Analyze app, which is what makes this device so amazing, because you can buy the old Rife machine out of China, something, there's I'm not going to name them, but there's programs that, Chinese companies making a copy of a Rife machine, and it will do different kinds of frequencies, but typically it's not biofeedback. It's not going to read your field. It's just you just choose a program and you hit start. Well, we want to be able to have the Healy tell us what we need. So in this resonance analysis app is what I'm going to show you. But here's that coaching analysis that Lori was talking about, that for if you're a coach, or you just want to even do this on yourself, it's just incredible. Okay, really cool thing. Our analysis has to do specifically with dealing with the 7 chakras, or those energy centers, and doing an analysis of how that's affecting you and being able to balance that energy. But resonance analysis is my favorite part that I like to do some with every day. So I'm just going to choose myself here as the client. And we can make clients that are yourself, people, animals, even plants. You can do frequency work with pretty much anything, because everything's frequency. Make sure the Healy's on. It is. I select the Healy device, and I'm going to go to a database. So you'll see here that it's going to say, with what is the greatest resonance? Yeah, with what do I have the greatest resonance now? So that's the focus of these scans, and it's comparing my bioenergetic field to these different databases. So starting right about here, you can see all the databases that I already showed you in my Healy, with beauty and bioenergetic defense, bioenergetic harmony, deep cycle, right? We went over a lot of these, learning, meridians. We showed you the bioenergetic harmony. Group 1 had that nerves program, number 2 had that sciatica program, and so on. So I could scan within any of these to see which frequency program is needed most by my body in each of those things. But one thing that's really cool that I can do is just click this all Healy programs, and it'll tell me which of those categories is most important. So I am touching the screen where it shows that fingerprint. It's not scanning my fingerprint. It's just kind of a start scan now button. And it's showing me that right now, the most important frequencies are found somewhere in this learning programs group, and then fitness, and then gold cycle. And they'll give me the top 5. Bioenergetic vitalization, which are those ones about keeping us young. And then this is something we have called a Healy watch, and digital nutrition programs that are assigned to that watch device. I'm not really going to get into that. Just know that there's a lot more that we can do with the Healy than we can possibly share tonight. But what I know here is that these are kind of my top ones, and they're all over 50%. So I consider those pretty important. And I could scan in any of these and see what I need most. So for instance, do learning programs. So go back out here, choose resonance, choose me, go to the database, and choose the Healy learning programs, because this is number 1 for me. There's 9 programs in this group. Blue wavy line means it's scanning my field, and learning acute is most important for me. And then learning systemic, and then memory, stress acute, and exam systemic. The difference between acute and systemic is interesting. Systemic means we're using the wrist electrodes, it's about the whole body. Acute is targeting the head, since this is a learning program. And in our case, we would use these adhesive electrodes. Healy shows putting them at the base of the neck or the top of the back, because that's as high legally that they're allowed to say you can use them in the United States. There's some weird law that says you can't put an electrode on your head without a doctor being involved, or a doctor giving you a prescription or something. I usually cheat and put them on my head anyway, right back here behind the ears. But over in Europe and other countries, they actually have a separate set of electrodes that clip onto the earlobes for these kind of acute programs, to put the the frequencies right up by the head. So this is what's number one. So what I would typically do, knowing this is my number one program in my number one program group, I would switch over to the other app and run that program with microcurrent. Okay, but what else can we do? There's a third type of frequency programs we can do, our frequency application. So I can do the scan result, then I can hit actions and vibrate. Now this is going to be frequencies in the quantum field. So this is actually, this may sound a little weird because this weirded me out for months until I started using it and seeing that it really worked. But you can link up with someone in the quantum field. It's through what quantum physicists would call it quantum entanglement. And it's kind of like dialing into a radio station, but you're dialing into another person. And we do that with a picture and a birth date, and there's some information we put in there. And then we can send frequencies even remotely. And if I'm doing this myself, I would just hit start, but I'm going to change the duration instead of 1:20, make it a little less so it doesn't take so long here, 37 seconds. So what it's doing now is it's sending frequencies into the quantum field and balancing my bioenergetic field in essence. And it's doing that for all 5 of these learning programs that came up. It's choosing the best frequencies. Notice it has the blue wavy line, which means it's still scanning my field. And the reddish wavy line means it's this information it's sending into my bioenergetic field. And so this is a way to send frequencies into the field. You don't even need to have the wires hooked up. You don't even have to have the Healy up against your body. It's done in the quantum field, okay? That may sound a little crazy to some of you, but it really, really does work. It's amazing. I believe in God. I just believe God has made our bodies this way. He's made everything to work together this way. All right, so that's the way we can do frequencies. You know, I could go back here and I could see the list, and I could see that my all Healy programs, my number 2 program group was the fitness group, and I could scan in there. And if number 1 program is, what's some of the ones in there? Regeneration or stamina, you know, whatever it says is the program I need. I might also want to run that one today, whether it's with the wires or the coil, but I could also then scan in there, do this vibrational type frequencies. There's just so many ways we can use the Healy. The other cool thing is that there's other databases though, where we can do just these vibrational, and you may have heard of some of these: Alaskan gem elixirs, Australian bush flowers, Bach flower remedies, homeopathics. Down at the bottom, we have things like I Ching, which is traditional Chinese medicine. Down here, Schussler salts are like cell salts that affect. A lot of these are even on the emotional spectrum as well. And it's really cool that we can scan within those and then send frequencies into our field that way in the quantum field as well. So that's basically how this all works. Now I want to stop sharing here and share my computer screen real quick so I can explain a little more about how you actually get a Healy, what they cost. Yeah, anyone that has any questions that are coming up right now, go ahead and type them in the chat. Lori does a great job of just covering those and answering those questions for you. So I'm going to share my computer screen now. So share screen, desktop, and share. And let's go find this right here, the Healy editions and pricing. I'll hit play if I can move things out of the way. Okay. So first of all, there are 5 different editions or versions of the Healy at 5 price points, but the hardware is the same for every edition. So if you get a lower price edition initially and then later want to upgrade to a higher one, you can. You don't have to even get a new Healy. You just get, it opens up more program groups that you have access to, or more app modules and such. You're just opening up more software, okay? So when you get your Healy, you'll get all the stuff you need to use your Healy, these electrodes and the wires and so on. But you also get 2 weeks money back guarantee, and it's from the day you receive it in the mail. So whatever day it shows up, you got a full 2 weeks. You can play with it, see if you can get it to not work, which if you'll put it through its paces, you're going to say, wow, this thing's, how did it know? How did the Healy know that that's what I'm needing right now? And you'll notice improvement. 2 weeks is plenty of time to notice improvement with the Healy and see that it's really working. These are examples of just all the different program groups and app modules that are available in the Healy. And depending on your edition, you'll have some or most of these. And if you have an edition, whatever you get in your edition, you own for life, and there's no subscriptions or monthly fees or annual fees or anything to use those for the rest of your life. However, if there's a program group maybe that's not in your edition and you want to add it, you can do that. And then it would be like a small monthly subscription to add certain things to your Healy. The lowest price edition is called Healy Gold. It's about $500, but it's a very entry level. It only has 11 microcurrent programs, but it's got the gold cycle, which are very popular, and they kind of are more generalized and cover just really every area in 7 programs. Bioenergetic support has bioenergetic boost that came, it was created during COVID as an immune system booster, and coherence, which just balances everything to get everything in coherence. And then the 2 FDA cleared pain programs. And then the search module, like where I typed in diabetes, and you can see which it will basically only return which of these would be most helpful based on your search results there, your search query. On the far extreme, the most expensive of the 5 is called Healy Professional, and it's a little over $4,000. And it's got 216 programs instead of just 11. And in all of these different categories. So the one I was showing you, my Healys, we went through all those categories. That was a professional module. I had all these categories, and the digital nutrition pages, bioenergetic vitalization, those each have modules. Like digital nutrition, you can actually get shopping lists of different foods that would be also helpful in that area. The ARA module we talked about, the resonance module we played with, the search module we tried, the success coach module we've talked about, but we didn't get into all of that and show it. But that's $4,000 to have all of that. In between, there's all these other additions, and as you go up in price from 500 to about 1,000, now you've added 5 more categories of programs that could have anywhere from 4 to 12 programs in each one, and that gets you up to 63 microcurrent programs and the search module for that one. When you get to resonance, now you've got 98 programs because you've added these other categories: chakras, fitness, the rest of the pain programs, sleep, and something called the power of 3. And you're getting that resonance module that we played with where we did the scanning. And that's really important. So if you can afford it, you really should start at least at the resonance edition to be able to do that scanning ability. Resonance Plus adds another 3 program groups and the ARA module and the success coaching module. And so that's now you're up to 124 microcurrent programs, but you've added 2 more modules as well. And when you get to the professional, now you go all the way to 229 programs, more than 100 more programs added in there, and these categories and app modules as well. And this includes the digital nutrition and bioenergetic vitalization, which are really, really cool and very popular. Now, there's been different discounts over time, different promotions. So today was the very end of the month, and they don't announce if there is a promotion or a discount until tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern. That we'll be on a webinar with Germany and find out what promotions there are. So there's a high likelihood that these prices will be somehow discounted, but I can't guarantee that or how much. Or there could be other promotions. In the past they've done, where maybe you get something else free if you order a device and so on. So definitely check with the person that told you about this after tomorrow at 1 or 2 Eastern, and we will know the answer to what or if there's any kind of a special promotion where this price could be discounted. And it could be a pretty significant discount, so please check into that. If not, it's still worth, I guarantee you, even at $4,000, the professional edition is worth every penny. Now lastly, let's look here at the Healy coil is a separate accessory. It's about $225. So I suggest purchasing the edition you want, but adding the coil. If you can afford that, you should add the coil. And then very lastly, you can become what we call a Healy World member. That just simply means you're taking part in our social selling or network marketing. You can build a business promoting this technology. You can earn commissions for referring others, and you can earn a free Healy device as well. So some people like me see this and go, wow, there's a lot of opportunity here. This is the coolest little device ever in a emerging huge market of frequency and vibration and energy. I want to be part of this and turn this into my full-time income. So that's what I have done. I quit my job at a university and now earn triple what I was earning there, doing my own business and being able to do it all, in my case, from a laptop while I travel around the country in a in a RV with my wife. So we sold our house in March, and we live in an RV. It's a really nice RV. In fact, this is just its own room that's an office in my RV where I have a couch and a desk, and it's really cool. But we're in Colorado this week, and we'll be in Montana next week, and we'll be up in Montana because our son and his wife are having a baby around November 14th or so. We're going to be able to be up there for the birth. So we love this lifestyle that the Healy has allowed us by building a business. Some people just want to come in and earn this free device, just sell a few devices or refer a few people to Healy so that they earn a free device, and that's fine, and earn back your investment, right? If that's all you want to do, we love that. You're bringing us some great people, but we're also looking for leaders that really want to promote Healy to the point of helping us spread this around the world. One of Healy's stated goals is to really impact the world by having, like, one number they throw out is 100 million families that own a Healy. Can you imagine if 100 million families around the world were using this device, how that would impact the health of the world, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally, spiritually, all the aspects like Lori was talking about. So we'd love for you to become part of this, but if not, if you just want to be a customer of ours, we love our customers too. So Lori, what have I forgotten to point out? Do you want to mention just a little bit about what the Mag Healy is and what it can do?
Yeah, but before I do, the key I want to impress upon everyone is that the professional at $4,000 is equivalent to approximately 20 biofeedback sessions at $200 a pop. Now, I know a lot of people in this company who have Healys. David, how many sessions do you run in a week?
Oh, I probably do 50 in a week, for
Right,
myself.
right. So, I mean, it honestly pays for itself so fast that don't let that big price tag, fool you. It's pretty amazing how efficient it is and what it does.
And if you can
So
get your
now we
body,
have,
I'm gonna say, if you can get your body healing itself, it's gonna save you money. You're able to, if you're one of those people like me that just does not want to have to take those pharmaceutical drugs, if you can get off of those and stop that expense, but also all those side effects from those drugs. You hear those commercials, they're crazy. Take this drug that will help you whatever, but it's going to make you want to kill yourself. I mean, I'm not going to take that stuff if I can avoid it. So yeah, this is worth it. So worth it. Yeah, go ahead, keep going, Lori.
absolutely. And the revitalization programs, it's stem cell frequencies. So that we have this whole anti-aging program. I mean, there's so much in that professional. It's absolutely incredible. Anyway, now we have this really amazing new device called a Mag Healy, and where the Healy works with frequencies in the electrical field, the Mag Healy works with frequencies in the magnetic field. And what's so incredible is that you can combine the two. So while I absolutely love my Healy, combining the frequencies for your electrical field with the magnetic field is giving you an opportunity to rebalance on a much deeper level, especially in the physical body. And we have a whole little video, if you're interested, ask the person who sent you here, that was done last week on how combining the two devices together is getting exponential results, even to the point of helping with chronic inflammation, which is one of the toughest things to get under control. So it's not just that it's this amazing device that charges water, it does that, but it has frequency-specific microcurrent frequencies in it, a whole program category of 24 separate programs that actually run two frequencies simultaneously. So if you're running two frequencies simultaneously from the Mag Healy, one's going directly to the tissue, physical tissue, the other's going to the issue, which oftentimes is an emotional issue. So you're really getting at it simultaneously. And then when you add the Healy into it and run the frequencies into your bioenergetic field, I've heard people say that it's like what are they calling it? The resonance effect. Like they're 20 or 30 minutes in and their body heats up and they can actually feel physical sensations of shifts and changes that are taking place. So definitely something that you want to learn more about. So again, whoever sent you here, ask them about it, because there's only so much that David and Ray and I can cover in an hour on a Monday night. But there's tons and tons of information out there. And if it sounds complex, let's think about it this way. I was training on a biofeedback device, 15 years ago, on one of the high-end devices. And I asked the doctor that I was working under how long it was going to take me to learn all of this. And he gave me a one-word answer. And he said, forever. So I share that with everybody that buys a Healy or Mag Healy or gets involved in biofeedback and frequency medicine. We're just scratching the tip of the iceberg right here, right now. So know that it's going to be part of your life forever and you're going to be learning forever. But how exciting is that? I think that makes it, even that much more phenomenal.
Yeah. All right, we'll probably start signing off here. I do just want to remind everyone, we do this every Monday night. So if you know people that you want to share this with, whether you're building a business with us or not, we're here and you can do these live, and we do also record them. We'll be able to, you can get the link from whoever shared this with you and they can send that to you. You can share it with others. We want to get this word out, of course. And then whoever's group you've become involved in, whether it's Ray and I kind of work together, Lori is a separate Healy organization within Healy, but we support our people, we teach our people, we train our people. You're going to get training, you're going to get help and support. Healy, of course, has their own academy with training videos and such too. So you don't have to worry about jumping on board with us and then not getting any support on how to use the Healy. We want people to be ravenous fans of the Healy and to use it correctly and see the results, so you'll share it with others and we can accomplish this mission of helping 100 million families learn about the Healy and use the Healy and impact the world that way. So thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you next week, and hopefully you'll be those of you that are brand new, you'll be getting your Healy questions answered this week and get your Healy ordered so we can get it in your hands and you can start playing with it. All right, thank you everyone, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.